Hello, hello. I am scrambling to get here, but I made it. So, how are you all? It's so good to see you. Welcome to a Thursday night Facebook card class with CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm so grateful for you. Whether you are catching me live or if you are watching the replay, thank you. Drop a comment so that I know that you are here. Um, Let me know where you're coming from, all those good things. Let's see. I have some things like usual. So, hey mom. Um, First off, the project that I'm going to share tonight focuses mainly on retiring product. I think that there's a lot of things that I didn't get to play with nearly as much as I wanted to. And so this is kind of my last chance because hey Janie, you guys know that I try really hard not to show you things you can't get. So hopefully, I looked at the list. I think these things are still available. So fingers crossed you can get them if you want to add them to your supplies. If you want the tutorial, the PDF tutorial for how to make tonight's project, make sure that you are subscribed to my email list. Every week I send out an email that has any specials, any classes that are coming up, and the free tutorial from the previous Thursday's class. So look for that. And then if you need to add any or if you need anything else as we're talking, make sure that you hop over to my online store and place that order. If your order is going to be under $150, please use the host code. It's listed here in the description of the video. That just helps me continue to bring things like tonight's live to you. If your order is more than $100, please talk to me. I have a couple of things that I can do to help make it more affordable for you. So that is, it always sounds intimidating when somebody says, oh, come join my team. But that's not how Stampin' Up! Is. Stampin' Up! Is an amazing company to partner with. And so if you buy the starter kit, then you get a huge discount on things. You continue to get discount on future orders, 20 to 25%, depending on kind of your status. And you also get all my PDFs for free. So that's all of my classes to go and any other tutorials that I write. So something to consider. I've got an in-person card class coming next Monday, and I designed it today because, I'm running behind like usual, and it's going to be really fun. So I hope you can join me. I have a class to go that closes next week, and then I'll get it all cut and delivered or ready for pickup for everyone. And it uses the Queen Bee bundle. So that is a stamp set and die set that are in the current mini catalog. So interestingly, the dies are retiring, but the stamp set is continuing. I don't understand how they make these decisions, but that's what's going on this round. So if you want those dies, even if you're not buying my class, I would get the dies if you have the interest in the stamp set. Plus, right now you get the bundled price, the 10% off. So it's just a better deal all around. Hey, Pat, thanks for being here. And thank you all for sharing. That was really, really appreciated. It helps with my viewership, which is, something that I'm constantly striving to build. Okay, last thing, Paper Pumpkin is all the little things. And that subscription period closes on Monday the 10th. And this round it is, so all the little things is focusing on cherry blossoms. Excuse me. So you can see it's these really pretty floral images, and you can't tell this at all from this picture, but it does include some iridescent foiling that I think is going to be really, really fun to play with. And so this kit makes 9 standard cards. You get a shaded spruce ink spot, an exclusive stamp set, and then all of the embellishments and twine and some of the adhesives and things that you need to complete the cards. So a really fun kit. It's really, really nice if you don't want to do your own designing, or if you look at a stamp set and you think, I don't understand how to use this, that is what kits are for. That is what my classes to go are for. So you can craft and feel really successful and creative, but you don't have to do the design work. So something to keep in mind. I think that is the bulk of it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this new catalog. It just got here and I am so excited, and I can't show you anything more than the cover. But it is going to be, I'm never good at figuring out which way to move, so good. This flower set here, this one. Nope, this one. I think that is what I am getting in my pre-order, and I can't wait to play with it. It's going to be really, really pretty. So there's a lot coming. I know you've heard me talk about the color refresh and all of those kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my view, and we can continue talking about those things while you watch me do the crafty things. But as I mentioned, we're doing a color refresh, which means that we are getting rid of a bunch of colors and getting new ones. So tonight we are using Rich Razzleberry and Polished Pink. Polished Pink is one of our in colors that would be retiring anyway. Rich Razzleberry is one that we've had for a long time, and they've decided to let it go. So that is sort of what's going on there. The new colors are amazing. I can't wait to play with them. So this little set, this was my team meeting make and take project kit for this month. The layout was from my friend Heather Guerrero, and I just changed all of the colors and the paper and everything. So as I said, it was for my team meeting, but I am also going to use this as a free gift with purchase this month. So for any order in my online store this month of $35 or more that uses my host code, I will automatically send you, it may not look exactly like this because, you know, it just depends on what patterns of designer series paper I have left in the bay stack. But it will be essentially these, and I'll make sure that everything is going to look nice together. So really fun layouts. It's called a one sheet wonder, which just means that you take one piece of designer series paper, cut it a certain way, and then you're set up to make projects. So hopefully you will take advantage of that. And I think that's it. I'm out of breath, you guys. Oh my gosh, that is sort of embarrassing. I have also lost the project that we were making. There we go. Okay, so this is tonight's card. It's got something on there. Hopefully you can see that it is heat embossed, and then there's some dry embossing and all sorts of things. So this is what we are working towards. This project has a bunch of kind of fiddly little steps, and I was trying to decide what I could do in advance so that you didn't have to watch me do certain things that are, you know, kind of basic that you know how to do. However, I just couldn't really figure out how to do bits of it without taking away too much, I guess. So you're just going to watch the whole process, and I will be as quick as possible as I stick my hand in the ink. We're already off to a good start. I'm glad you like the card. So this is the hand-drawn dots stamp set, or it's a background stamp. I don't use background stamps a ton just because I don't really think about it. But I think that they are really fun, and there's a lot of different things you can do with them. This one was in the January to April mini catalog, and it is not carrying over and I had it and hadn't even pulled it out yet. So here we go. So the Stamparatus also is retiring. And let's talk about that for a minute, because this is one of the best tools. I love this tool. It makes things so much easier, whether you're trying to make the same card 15 times, or if you are trying to ink something 3 times to make sure that you get really good inking. Whatever your reason is, it is handy, and it is retiring. And from what they have told us, it's because there are some legal disputes over it, and rather than try to fight it out in court, Stampin' Up! Just decided to let it go, which is a massive bummer. And you know, that's just all there is to be said. It's not what we would have wanted. So, as I mentioned earlier, I typically don't use things that you all can't get, because I think that sets you up for aggravation. However, my Stamparatus is not going anywhere. So you will, oh geez, I did not do a good job with that. Let's see. Rather than try to repair that mess, I'm just going to start over and fix it later. So let's bring this back in. Trying to think what else I can tell you about the things that are leaving. You know, a lot of times it just doesn't make sense. And things like the queen bee's dies staying, or not staying, but the stamps staying. Yeah, I don't get it, but it is what it is. So we just make the best of it and know that Stampin' Up! Always has fun new things coming. And to that point, I am super excited. So if you participated in or saw any of the ads for my Hello Irresistible Stamp Camp that we did last weekend, it's only been a week, that's crazy. I am partnering with my friends Greta Leonard and Leah Dixon. They are two, oh, I hear the kid yelling. Two wonderful demonstrators that I have been working with the last few months. And I just really, really like their style. I like the way they go about their business. So it's a lot of fun to work with them. So we decided that we are going to do several more events to usher in this new catalog. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble here. Usually it's not this difficult, but I think maybe it's because I'm wedged up in the corner of the platform. So anyway, we are doing a catalog launch online on Sunday, May 7th. And all of these things, while they will have live components, everything is recorded so you can go back to it in the future. I am about to just lose my mind here. I don't know what to do. And my magnet just went flying, so that's always awesome too. Okay, let's try this again. So that's the first thing. I am also doing just an in-person party, class, whatever you want to call it, on May the 6th, which will be the day before. And that will just be, you'll come make some fun projects that are a little bit simpler than what I do in some of my classes, but still really, really fun. You get to experience new product and colors and all those things. And then see lots of other inspiration and pick up your catalog if you are one of my customers, or if you need a catalog and don't already have a demonstrator. Uh, Janie, it very well may be, let me just tell you. This is looking better. So it was just that I was up in the corner. So that's kind of what's happening for the first event. Then we are starting, okay, this is a lot, so I have to think really hard. We are starting an in color club. So that is the 5 colors that get to come in for 2 years and then leave. And so the new ones are gorgeous. They are kind of warm and muted, and I think that they are going to just really, really be a lot of fun to play with. One of them is copper clay, one of them is pebbled path, I think. Wild wheat. So you know they always do the crazy names that make it virtually impossible to remember. But the colors are great. Moody mauve, I think, is actually going to be my favorite of the whole pack. So this is going to be a 4-month club where you will be able to get all of the, I know they are kind of crazy. You'll be able to get all of the in color product over a certain period of time, and for being in the club, you get 3 new projects each month. So 1 from each of the 3 of us. All right, let's do this. So I think I had used clear on my original card, and my clear is dirty. There were lots of bits of silver and copper and black, and I don't know what I've done. So anyway, we're going to try it with white and see if we can make this work better. So because it is such a big image, it's just going to take a little bit longer to get it all melted. But it is nice that you can see the change happen, so you know when to stop adding heat. Okay, so that's the In Color Club that's coming. That will happen once a month starting on May 15th, and registration will be, in the weeks leading up to that. So there is that. No, I didn't get the very middle of that, did I? And then finally, in June, we are doing a new color stamp camp. So that will be actually kind of set up like a vacation Bible school or something. So it's going to be over 3 evenings. The first full week of June, I think, is what we said. And you'll just get to make 9 different projects with us, 3 from each of us. And the content, again, will be all recorded, so you can come back to it when you want to. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot going on the next couple of months, but it's all really exciting, and I hope that you will plan to join me for one or all of the events. Yeah, if you have questions, let me know. None of the details are up anywhere yet because we kind of fleshed out the plans on Sunday, and then this week has been very busy. So they're coming. Just know. But if you want to make sure that you're in on whatever it is, just shoot me a message and I will add you to my list and we'll go from there. Okay, so that was much more of an ordeal than I was expecting, but you can see all the cute little white dots. So now what I want to do is bring in my Blenderr brushes Mom, I have got spots in all three things for you. So we are going to do, oh, that is dirty. Pinks, yellows, and purples. And I just always like to make sure that there's not a bunch of ink still on my brush that's going to cause a problem on my project. And I realized that I have not done this in a very long time, the blender brush business. So, Pat, I wish you were too. And, you know, that's why we offer everything to go or online. But certainly, it is a lot of fun to get together in person and do the things. So I would love it if you were here. Okay, so I am just brushing off the first little layer of ink that's on the tips of the bristles. And now I'm just going to start off my cardstock and work across. And because Rich Razzleberry is such a rich, dark color, I just want to kind of start lighter. I can always add more ink. So I think we'll stop there for the moment. And I'm going to grab my polished pink. This is seriously one of my favorite colors. And so they kept fresh freesia, which is also a wonderful color. And that is very exciting, but I do wish that the polished pink got to hang around too. Okay, so again, starting off the edge and then coming across. So that's starting to look a little bit like what I want, but I definitely want more of that pink. And I am going over the Rich Razzleberry just a little bit because I want to kind of blend at the edges. So we will be done there and add some yellow. So I decided that the Daffodil Delight looked the best in this color combination. It's not going anywhere, so don't worry about that. But it was just, you know, the bright, happy yellow that needed to go with the other two colors. Okay, so now that I've been doing this for a minute, my hands are entirely likely to be inky. So I am just looking for something I'm going to put on top here so that I can hold my cardstock and then, you know, not stick my inky fingers into one of the colors. So get this yellow down. Ooh. All right, and now I'm going to bring my pink back in because I want to blur that line a little bit. So this is where you want to pay attention to which brush you're grabbing because it would be very sad to stick the wrong brush in the pad. Would you say the wrong brush in the wrong pad? I don't think that's how that works. But anyway, just make sure you're keeping the brush with the correct color pad. All right, so that's kind of coming along there. And just do just a little bit more. This pink is kind of a drier pad at this point because I've used it a lot. So having to do the process a few more times than normal. But I think that that is going to do it. The name of the yellow, it is Daffodil Delight. So it's been around for as long as I have been doing this, which doesn't actually mean a whole lot when you think about some of the demonstrators that have been around for 30 plus years. But it is definitely a classic. So now I just want to clean up my dots a little bit. So I just have a tissue, and I'm just going to wipe over here. And the smart thing to do is to stay in one color zone, which you'll notice I did not do at the start, but that's okay. And now I'm switching to the pink area. Just really want to make sure that the white dots aren't covered with ink so we can really appreciate their contrast. Okay, that is that, and that is going to go directly onto our rich raspberry card base. So, liquid glue. What else? So when this cup of tea bundle came out last year, it was one of the first things that everybody got and everybody used it, and it's wonderful and it does lots of cute, clever little things. But then nobody really used it anymore. And I am equally guilty of that. And so when I saw that it was going, I figured we had better have one more play with it, and I drank a ton of tea, so it is actually probably going to be one of the few bundles that I don't get rid of. I keep a very limited selection of retired things, just because I just don't have the space or the time, but some are too good to let go. So get this on. With having put the heat on it, the page just curled just a little bit, so I want to make sure that I get all of the corners and edges adhered. Okay, next we need some more space. Oh my gosh, it just goes so fast. Let's do our pink cup first. So for this one, you can see all these cute little dies. There's flowers, there's greenery, there's tea bags and lemon slices. It is adorable. I wanted to do just one little pink teacup, and I didn't want to do a whole bunch with it. So what I chose to do was emboss it with the Hive folder. The Hive is one that I did not get, even though I loved the Queen Bee bundle. And then it was added to the celebration list in February. And so I grabbed it then, and it is a lot of fun to play with. I really think that you could hand me pretty much anything, and once I had played with it enough, I would enjoy it. But certainly there are some things that I like a lot better than others. Okay, trying not to shake the camera because you guys are probably all already dizzy and motion sick as it is. There is that one. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And I think I mentioned last week that this cute little machine is going to be available for customer purchase next month. So that's exciting. So if you look at this, you can kind of see, if I get really, really close, that this is the side that is supposed to be up. However, that didn't work for my layout, so I flipped it and then embossed it, and I think it worked okay. You know, some things that goes better than others, but this one was fine. So I'm just going to throw this in my large machine to get that dry embossing done. So the other day I went through and pulled all of my retiring things so that I could really see what I wanted to play with. But what that means is that my office is trashed. And I can barely even move around in here at this point. So there's going to have to be a reckoning. And my in-laws are coming this weekend, which does not help the situation. So we'll see how that all shakes out. All right, this, I don't have to do anything to the yellow. To my rich raspberry, which is going to be the overlay there, I could just run it through and not do anything else. But because it is pretty intricate, I decided that it is a good candidate for using the adhesive sheets. And that's not something that I do a ton, so it might be helpful for you to see what I do. But they come with, wax backing, and you just peel it, stick the cardstock in. For this one, I am going to attempt to open the not open here side, just because of the way this piece is all cut up, but I don't know that that's going to work. So let's just do this, and really, and probably it will just quit pulling. I can go just right here, set that on, and now I can close this wax backing back up. Now I'm just going to take my paper snips and cut this out of here and use that for something else. So now this just comes right off, and then you take the die and set it on there. Bring the cute little machine back in. You all are very quiet tonight. Usually I see lots more conversation and questions. So I'm going to put this guy here and see if I can also get this one in on the same pass, because why work harder than you have to? Okay, get this going. And oh my gosh, so much work when you don't want the camera to shake. Normally I just leave this on the floor and lean over and crank stuff through, and there's no issues. Janie, I'm glad it's not just me. We have been watching, this is completely not crafting related, but anyway, we've been watching The Night Agent on Netflix, I think is where that one is. And it's, probably a little bit hokey or whatever, but we're definitely enjoying it. This guy is trying to help figure out who's the bad guy and the FBI Secret Service mess that they're in. And so anyway, I don't know if I will get to watch any tonight, but we try to watch an episode a day. I think Joe would be much more likely to binge more than that, but he gets up at 4:45 every morning, so he is just not that interested in giving up his sleep. Okay, I don't want to pull on the wrong pieces because that would be sad. But I do need to break out the bits that are not supposed to be there. So essentially, you're just going to pull this wax backing off now. And before I put this on the yellow cup, I do really need to pop out these pieces that are being stubborn. So, Janie, I thought about you when I was designing this um, because you had mentioned doing some watercoloring, and this would also be an excellent candidate for like a watercolor wash and blending colors. Just as a side note, and had I had more time, I would have done a sample with that, but you know, time is such a hot commodity around here. So, um, yeah, you watch BritBox, right, Jenny? I keep seeing stuff about that, and then I think I have to pay more to get it, and so we just haven't done it yet. But there are certainly a lot of things on there that sound like they would appeal. Okay, so now that I've got all the bits out, I'm just going to line up the top edge here and smooth that down, and look at that beautiful mug. So now we can go ahead and put our teacups on the project, and then we'll get, actually, we can only put the pink one on. That would have been bad. Then we'll get the leaves, and we're getting close. So that one's gonna go like that. I think the other reason that I don't do BritBox is because that is so my speed and so not Joe's. So I watch that kind of thing when it's just me, which is just not that often. Although, let me just tell you, that guy's travel schedule is going to do me in this year. It's like his company has decided that they don't want to waste money, but they also want their people all over the place all the time. So he is off again soon, which would be less of a deal, except that we also start soccer and baseball and all these things, and I can't be in two places at once. And this is the first year that Emily has had things, so it's going to be interesting. All right, one leaf. Oh, Janie, you're so cute. You should definitely send them, and you know, I think, Mom, don't you keep a Pinterest board of cards that you have sent so that you can look back, partly so you don't probably send the same card to the same person twice, but also just because it is nice to see what you've made in the past. But I certainly understand not wanting to give away some of the things that you worked so hard on. All right, I'm just trying to let that kind of dry. I just stamped the leaves twice in Versamark. And because you know how to cut leaves with a die, I'm not going to shake the camera for that. I mean, isn't it always the thing? Like, we have these brilliant organizational ideas and they are wonderful, but you have to do them, and that is hard. So, I feel you. Oh my gosh, I literally have like 1 square foot of floor space at the moment. If anybody wants to come and organize my office, you are welcome. I mentioned to Joe that he could try that because he was in a crazy cleaning fit earlier this year, and then the skiing just kept being really, really good, and he never got around to it. And let me just tell you, the storm that northern Utah had this past week, 67 inches of snow dumped on the resorts, and one of the canyons has been closed all week because of all the avalanches. So there are people who have been up at Snowbird and Alta all this time, and they can't get home. That makes me feel so panicky to be stuck somewhere like that. And a lot of the time, they've not even been able to get out and ski, which, I mean, if they could the whole time, then yeah, that'd be great. But they can't. And they've just been stuck in our lodge, which is even worse. So Okay, sorry, that was a total tangent. And yes, the teacups are very comforting, and I do just really love them. I'm sad that they only lasted a year. Um, we had a tea set a few years ago, and it was much more, how would you say, like intricate or elegant or something along those lines. So this one is a little bit more my style, cute and happy, and at least that's how I like to think of myself. Panicky, yeah. I mean, terrifying to the point that like at some point they're gonna start running out of food up there. I don't know what you do in that situation. I mean, it just sounds awful. So anyway, keep those people who thought they were going up for a fun little retreat in your minds, because oh my gosh, that sounds just really, really awful to me. And Joe's looking at pictures of the avalanches, and sorry, a lot of adhesive to make sure that this sticks with the embossing. Joe keeps looking at all the pictures of all the snow and talking about how amazing it is, and all I can think is, oh my gosh, please no more. So, all right, we're gonna do that. I know, it's so cute, and there's two different sizes, and those tea bags are just adorable. And I saw so many people doing so many clever things, and I am not an out of the box thinker like that. So I'm always really amazed at what people come up with. All right, so I think it was last Thursday, maybe it was Saturday at the camp, that I finished up my sheet of regular dimensionals, and I literally have not pulled open the drawer that is across the room to get out a new sheet of regular dimensionals. So we are going to play with these little minis that actually sort of make me crazy, but whatever, they'll work. And then we need a sentiment on here, and we need some heart pearls, and we will be done, and you will have hung with me for a very long time, so I appreciate that. I yeah, really didn't expect to have quite the issue with getting started that I did, as far as inking up that one stamp. So this is gonna go kind of like that. And then we want, okay, I'm running out of blocks. I gotta clean, since this one is my favorite block. Oh, thank you, Jana. Thanks for being here. Like I was saying, I just really want to use all the things that are retiring. And then as soon as that pre-order box comes, which, oh my gosh, I hope it comes. They are so behind. Like, so behind. And the CEO was showing footage from the pick line in the warehouse, and I mean, she was helping pick product and get it shipped out and stuff, and there's just a lot going out right now. So, at least I have a lot to play with until the new stuff shows up. Okay, so we're gonna do the take care of yourself, because how better to take care of yourself than with a cup of tea? So now I want, oh, did I put that punch away? I think I'm gonna clean up, and then I put away the wrong things. So don't mind me while I wrestle around and dig out this punch. So many of my blends are retiring. I just kind of, I mean, if I weren't quite so embarrassed about it, I would take a picture and show you the literal disaster zone that this place has become. But maybe next week it will get cleaned up. Okay, so I think that's straight. This is the Label Me Fancy Punch. So this and the Label Me Lovely, sorry, the light really reflects in that silver part, but those two punches go together so nicely, and they are both going, so that's a real bummer. So this guy's gonna go like that, and going to put dimensionals on everywhere except where it's going to sit on top of the cup that's popped up. So that basically means across the bottom and a little bit on the left side. And then I'm just going to do a touch of liquid glue in that top right corner so that it will stick to the yellow cup too. All right. And then I just kind of centered this on the card front with the original. And I think that that will work again. The placement is a little bit different on all of these. Okay, so now we need some heart pearls, assuming I can find them. There are so many good embellishments that are going. All these gems. Theoretically, the pearls made it back into here. Okay. So again, I think I mentioned earlier, but if you want the tutorial for this project, make sure that you are signed up for my weekly email. If you are excited about any of the classes that I have going on, make sure that you follow the links in the description of this video to get registered. If you ever have questions about any of the things, make sure you ask me. I am very available through Facebook, which, you know, sometimes I think I should get off of Facebook, and then other times, like, it's just there and it's easy. So it is what it is. All right, so we need a little heart there. And trying to decide which size I want to use. So I think we'll go right there. All right, we finished. You guys survived the excessively long process to make this cute little card. So lots of steps, but I think that that background really is, oh, hey, Julie, thanks for hopping on. I think that the process to make that background is really a lot of fun, and it's really rewarding. You know, but it's just a few steps. But if you're making something special, or if you just have some extra time that you want to play, then totally worth it. And I would highly recommend that you give it a try. If you do try, please hop over onto my Stampers group and post your projects, because I always love to see what everybody is making, what's inspiring you. And I think that that is really all that I have tonight. I'm so grateful that you were here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will hopefully be back next week with something equally fun and exciting. We have soccer starting next week, so that's why I'm not 100% sure on what the schedule is going to look like, but I will post it and let you know. I'm glad that you liked the colors and everything. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye.